Sander, his producer, and his cameraman running with protesters as they stoned the police station, dodging bullets from the police as they shot back, and really trying to understand the anger of a community which had one of their loved leaders shot by robbers.
On a lighter note, I was telling Hansen in the newsroom that he seems to be getting a reputation for being involved
in these things.
I'm saying very soon he'll start giving us tutorials on how to dodge bullets like Neo in the Matrix.
He's covered quite a number of volatile situations, but it was great reporting and talking to leaders of the protesters, speaking to the police.
Especially,
sometimes
when
you are credible media and you are with people who are angry, they still give you the respect and talk to you whilst action is unfolding. So Nathan, good morning.
Good morning.
Godfred, good morning.
Good morning, Bernard.
Heritage Caravan team listening to us on the bus, good morning.
Good morning.
Great stuff.
Even the food they are eating.
No, it's every town and its food.
Nipa are bad.
Kumasi is fufu and fufu is Kumasi.
Nipa are bad.
They are
what's going on?
No, because he's been left out.
I saw some men some squad.
No, the way he squat. Yes, and this thing or the apotoyua, they can put your head inside.
And some parts, it wasn't. He used his hand to scoop the soup.
What is this?
Nipa are bad.
This is terrible.
And they left us here.
Don't worry. On the 14th, we have our own version. It's called the Back to Your.
But they'll be here too.
Food bazaar. Don't worry. We equalize. When we start eating yake and abolo and things.
Yeah.
Let's go into the headlines, people.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Bernard, do you like puha?
What's that?
Charlie, Bernard, back to the village. You need it more.
Puha.
Puha. It's a type of yam.
No, I know pona and ponjo.
There's no puha. Puha is a drink. Don't worry.
Hey,
What's the type of yam? You don't like yam.
Let's rewind the tape. Let's go back.
No, we have puna. We have punjo. That's yam.
Puha. Maybe it's a new type of yam.
Maybe it's a new.
Genetically modified yam. Puha.
Serious.
Anyway, what type of drink is it anyway?
Don't worry. We are going to the village.
Don't mind this guy.
Front page of the Daily Graphic, Bernard. Caged for 7 years, Beza regains freedom. Jailed wrongfully for 15 years for defilement. Photo is here of Mr. Charles Chumesi, who has regained his freedom. Avoid food with moles. It's poisonous, says the GSA. Auditor General halts road projects with no funding. Aflao border on high alert for COVID-19.
The Ghanaian Times says, police flash out criminals, arrest 31 suspects in swoops in Accra. Volta region minister announces 10,000 cedi bounty for arrest of assassins of Sogakope assemblyman. Ghana loses $9.8 million to cybercrime, other criminal activities in 2019, and government honors 34 students for excellent performance in 2019 BC.
Front page of the Daily Guide newspaper, mayhem at Sogakope, one shot. Mahama awards 5 billion Ghana cedis cocoa roads with no cash. Senior Minister Defense, free SHS.
The Finder says 71 of CEOs positive about local business conditions. Dr. Awal woos Moroccan investors. One Ghana movement proposes 7 ways to get Ghana ready for COVID-19. A northern region on health time bomb.
Front page of the Daily Statesman, Alex Mould accused of hiding NDC killer incentives to ENI. We can't leave any child behind. Vice President Baumia says free SHS will broaden opportunities for all. NPP exposes Mohammed's lies on cocoa roads.
The Chronicle says mafia raid premixed fuel market. Sell product to poor fishermen at 1,200 cedis instead of 482 cedis. Mahama has no message, only doing campaign politics. MPP. And then Mahama responds, my campaign will be issue based.
Front page of the BNFT, Bernard. Foreign lenders are making a killing from Africa, according to the AFDB. Dr. Awal, Business Development Minister, is wooing some Moroccan investors on the front page, and affordable credit still a doubt as lending rate shows no significant reduction.
The New Crusading Guide says government creates 2.2 million jobs since 2017. Clearing agents on warpath at Aflao and Elubo border. Bloody clash at Asamankesi, 6 injured, 1 remanded in police custody. And Cutlass sale booms in traffic. Ghanaians raise security concerns.
Yeah, Charlie, that other time somebody approached me with a cutlass, better.
That you should buy or that
I
you
should buy it.
run.
Charlie, the way you approached me, Front page of the graphic business. Coronavirus dampens gains from Citi stability, and the Anadaco deal with Total is in focus by the paper.
There's a lot of Soga Copper stories on citynewsroom.com. So apart from the DC offering a 10,000 Ghana cedi bounty for the killers, residents storm police station of Assemblyman's murder, persons hit with bullets responding to treatment according to the police, and angry residents block the road again. So basically, lots of stories coming in from there. Also, police call for calm as residents' anger intensifies. All these stories coming in from Sogakope. Also, coronavirus, 33 suspected cases, all test negative. This is according to the Ghana Health Service boss. Still on the police, driver who moved with MTTD officer on bonnet will be punished. This is at the Eastern Regional Police. And then police are also probing the suspected case of kidnapping in the Northern region. Meanwhile, on the issue of roads, contractors are blaming bad planning for high cost of road projects and overruns. Now, if you go to citybusinessnews.com, Unipass implementation delays as training for freight forwarders begins following protests. Also, Isoko urges government to consider value addition aside construction warehouses. This is for stability of food prices. Receiver for microfinance savings and loan pays 700 million cedis to customers. And Jack Welch, legendary General Electric boss, dies at 84. If you go to myjournline.com, Port Health Coordinator suggests self-quarantine for persons arriving from abroad. This is on the coronavirus. The story you read earlier, man jailed 15 years, regains freedom. This is a wrongful jailing. Meanwhile, no evidence chloroquine can treat coronaviruses, according to Dr. Sarkodie. And then General Hospital shuts down for $52 million reconstruction. So that story was on CNN a few days ago. Globally, coronavirus is still the lead story. Diplomats to leave North Korea after virus lockdown. That's what the BBC is leading with. Twitter tells staff to work from home as coronavirus cases spread. Indeed, if you go to allafrica.com, which is an aggregator of African news, the lead story from for the day is Senegal. Government reports first COVID-19 case.
Yeah, from a French national.
That's what allafrica.com is reporting. And then there are so many global papers like Washington Post, all on coronavirus. For example, they are saying US death toll for virus rises to 6
yes.
15 states report confirmed cases. And again, if you go to China itself, coronavirus is the lead story. So it will dominate for a while.
Yeah, no, but you know one headline I saw that annoyed me? That was on, I think, France 24 or so.
What did they say?
The headline said, experts puzzled at slow penetration rate in Africa. Coronavirus.
Well, they are. Yeah, I mean, they should be.
They should not be puzzled.
Why should
We are fine.
We don't want any puzzle.
Well,
If it
sometimes
is not here, they should come and ask us what we are
sometimes when
doing.
you are not that integrated, like for example, when the world financial crisis took place, initially the effect on African countries was low because we are not that integrated into the world system.
Yes.
Same with travel, so it has its advantages and disadvantages. When they have bad things, we avoid it.
Let me go to Sogakope. Let's start from there. I have one story here on page 6 of the Daily Guide. Mayhem at Sogakope, one shot. One person was yesterday hit by a stray bullet in mayhem that engulfed Sogakope in the South Town district of the Volta region. Shots were fired as hundreds of residents of the town on the Accra-Plao Highway protested the death of the assemblyman Marcus Mauto Ajali, who was shot dead by unidentified assailants. The victim of the stray bullet, who is said to be a young man whose identity was not immediately known, is reported to have suffered his fate in the leg after the district police commander Michael Zah fired some shots when the crowd became unmanageable. The demonstrators blocked the main Accra-Plao Highway at the barrier near the lower Volta River at Sogakope. Now, the district chief executive, Mr. Emmanuel Louis Agama, earlier in the day announced a 10,000 Ghana cedi reward for the arrest of the assailants of Marcus, who is a popular businessman in the area and recently elected as assemblyman.
The
Times also has a Sogakope story.
Yes, the Times story looks at the bounty that was mentioned, and that was stated by Dr. Archibald Alecha, who's Volta Regional Minister. He was speaking at the deceased family's house at Sogakope after consoling the family on the death of the assemblyman who was shot on Sunday dawn. Dr. Alecha said the Volta Regional Security Council was deliberating over the case to assist the police apprehend all individuals involved in the murder and bring them.
Let me give you two stories from our website. Some residents in Sogakope stormed the police station in the town as they continue protest to express their displeasure over the murder of the gentleman Marcus Mauto Ajali. Now, police had to fire warning shots to disperse the protesters who had besieged the police station. The police opened fire after protesters started pelting stones at the officers. Some residents from Sukbe and neighboring town also made their way to Kakope to join the protest.
Hey.
And on Monday, they blocked the main Accra Flower Road at the end of the lower Volta Bridge at Kakope. They did the same thing on Tuesday, and the story says angry residents block Accra Road again. And it says residents of the town blocked the main road for some hours until the military came to restore order.
Yeah.
So those are the two Sogakope stories.
And a few quotes, for instance, Wisdom Yao Vigno, a member of the Concerned Citizens of Town, told the Daily Guide that until the police here are taken away and replaced with new ones, the youth are not going anywhere.
All right, now let's move to police stories.
Well, there are quite a few, Bernard, this morning. So let me just do one more on the front page of the Daily Graphic, which is the Beza who has regained his freedom, jailed wrongfully for 15 years for defilement. An accounts clerk of a school in Accra who was sentenced to 15 years for allegedly defiling a 12-year-old pupil of the school and impregnating her in the process has been acquitted and discharged by the Court of Appeal. Mr. Charles Chumesi, 38, was set free after the 3-member panel of the court unanimously held that there was no evidence that linked him to the said defilement, and also that some of the evidence was deliberately distorted to aid his conviction. We therefore set aside the conviction by the Trial Circuit Court as affirmed by the High Court on the grounds that the conviction was unreasonable, and furthermore, it is not supported having regard to evidence on record.
So he spent how many years in prison?
7 years.
How is he going to gain that back?
Yes, 7 years.
So somebody concocted evidence against him?
Yes. Now, in upholding the appeal, the Court of Appeal made a determination that there were inconsistencies in the testimonies of the victim, her mother, and the headmistress during the trial concerning when Chumesi was mentioned as a suspect. The court said the victim testified that she told her father in the presence of her mother that Nash and Chumesi had defiled her on different occasions. That was after she had tested positive for pregnancy. However, the court held that the mother testified that the girl initially informed her, the mother, and the father that it was only another person called Nash who had defiled her. The mother further testified that after the confession by the victim, the mother took her to the headmistress of the school to report Nash's conduct, that the headmistress interrogated the victim alone in a room.
So how did they then add this gentleman to the whole thing?
Well, another crucial claim made by the Court of Appeal was a deliberate attempt to distort Chumesi's evidence. The court said a casual look at the record of appeal, which was carried from the Circuit Court to the High Court, showed that at some point during cross-examination, Chumesi admitted the offense. According to the court, it demanded the record book, but realized that the trial judge did not write the questions which were asked at the trial in a record book, but rather used a cassette to record the questions and answers. He added that it demanded the cassette and the machine that was used for the recording, but it was told that 2 items got crashed. The court held that throughout the trial, the accused denied all the facts as presented by the prosecution, except his name and his place of work.
Well, this is really sad, but good news that he's been free. Now, let me give you 2 other police stories. I think we should be concerned the way relationship between the police and citizens has broken down. Now, driver who moved with MTTD officer on bonnet will be punished. This is Eastern Regional Police. This is a separate story from the Medina story. So 36-year-old Daniel Ofosu, the taxi driver who was seen in a viral video driving with a motor transport and traffic department officer clinging to his bonnet, has been arraigned. According to the police, the driver, who was on the wanted list of the police for multiple traffic infractions, resisted arrest and sped off when he was signaled by one sergeant prepare of police MTTD to stop. Now, Eastern Regional Police Public Relations Officer Ebenezer Atete said the police will stop at nothing to ensure the driver is punished. So that was issue 1. Issue 2, similar incident occurred last week, ended in a tragedy when a policeman was knocked down and killed by a commercial minibus driver after trying to stop the driver. The driver was pursued by the police for soliciting for passengers at the wrong place, engaging in unauthorized parking, and obstructing other road users at Medina. According to the police communique cited by Citi News, Sergeant Musa Pia stood in front of the vehicle and ordered the driver to disembark. But without any provocation, the driver ran his vehicle over the police officer in anger and killed him in the process. He was confirmed dead at 37 Military Hospital. The police say they are still looking for this driver.
Anyway, if you go to page 3 of the new Crusading Guide, it looks like yesterday's Unipass implementation has gotten some people quite riled. Now, the planned takeover of the single window operations of the country's ports by Kupia of Korea Customs Service has failed woefully as clearing agents debate issues at Aplawa and Alubo on the pilot project. This is because the new company could not deploy their supposedly new system at the various custom entry points. The senior minister, in a letter dated February 26, 2020, directed freight forwarders, clearing agents, and other stakeholders to use the new system to clear their goods on March 1. However, the clearing agents and the other stakeholders at the various ports could not clear their goods because there was no such system. They therefore had to use the existing systems by West Blue and GCNet to clear their
our
goods.
version on Citi Business News is saying that Unipass implementation delays as training for freight forwarders begins after protest. So it has a few more angles. Says that the much anticipated rollout of Unipass single window at the country's ports could not come off as expected at Elubo, as freight forwarders are now being asked to present their names for training on the way the system works. Now, the freight forwarders had warned government against a major setback in clearing activities at the Lubo and Aflawa borders without the necessary training for the relevant stakeholders. President of the Institute, Edward Akrong, told Citi Business News the implementation of the new system has now been put on hold.
Anyway, if you stay with the new crusading guide, it says government has created 2.2 million jobs since 2017.
Really?
That's according to the Deputy Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Bright Rekubrobe. And he's disclosed that the MPP has created this amount of jobs. Now, they are quotes. I read, quote, in total, since we came into office, 2,204,397,000 employees have been added in the employment space. Planting for Food and Jobs accounts for about 1,593,000, he revealed, end quote. The Deputy Minister was contributing to the debate in Parliament on President Akufo-Addo's State of the Nation address delivered on February 20. He said the majority of jobs created since 2017 had been in the informal space. That amounts to 85% of the workforce. And he says formal space accounts for 611,000 Ghana cedis. Now, quoting the president's statement to the House, he said the latest Ghana Living Standards survey had shown that unemployment in the country had reduced from 11.9 in 2015 to 7.3 in 2019.
It's good to give a breakdown so that we know which ones are permanent and temporary jobs. Now, still on numbers, the receiver for the microfinance savings and loans and finance houses has announced the commencement of processes to complete final payments of depositors. In a press release issued on Monday, which is yesterday, the receiver explained that full and final payments are ongoing in line with government's commitment to protect depositors' funds. And he says they have 40,000 depositors remaining, and that second batch of payments have commenced. And so far, 700 million Ghana cedis has been paid to customers. This is what the press release is also saying. Now, as of Friday, depositors' claim worth over 700 million had been transferred to Consolidated Bank for onward disbursement. Out of the over 360,000 depositor claims, which includes 39 microfinance and microcredit companies placed under official liquidation, more than 320,000 in a number of validated claims were fully settled in cash. The release also noted that to fully settle the remaining 40,000 depositors' claims in these receiverships, as well as in the official liquidation, government provided additional funding by way of combination of cash and bonds totaling 5 billion. So here are the numbers: 360,000 depositors, 320,000 paid. We don't know whether they've been paid in full or not. Another 40,000 to be paid. This is a massive number of people, eh?
Yeah.
And this is human beings and institutions.
Yes. Well, staying with the financial sector, but at page 3 of the BNFT, has two good stories. Affordable credit still a doubt, as lending rates shows no significant reduction, and foreign lenders are making a killing from Africa, according to the AFDB. Let me start from there. African governments need to be tougher when negotiating the terms of Eurobonds and commercial loans, the African Development Bank has said. Some external debts mature before the infrastructure projects they fund start generating returns, which raises refinancing risk, warned the president of the Development Finance lender. Neither should African borrowers be price takers. Now, quote, this is Akiumi Adesina. You are going to have to pay back when you are not earning the money. These bonds are oversubscribed because people see opportunities to make a killing. He however goes on to say that Africa isn't facing a debt crisis. Debt is not a problem. It's very bad debt that's a problem. You have got to worry about the terms of those Eurobonds, the short-term nature, and the repayment risk when they are due.
All right, there was a story you read about road.
It's Auditor General. It's on page 16 of the Graphic, Auditor General halts road projects with no funding. The Auditor General has asked the Ghana Highway Authority to stop the implementation of any project which does not have secure and available funding capable of meeting all projected costs. The directive followed the finding that the state lost $23 million in compensation costs for delays in paying the contractor undertaking lots 5 and 6 of the Eastern Corridor Road. The entire 698-kilometer Eastern Corridor Road starts from Tema in the Greater Accra region to Kulungungu in the Boku municipality in the Upper East region. Lots 5 and 6 of the project were implemented to improve 209 kilometers of the entire route connecting towns such as Utidamanko, Bimbila, Yendi, Gushegu, and Nankbanduri. The project was funded with a loan from the Brazilian government and counterpart funding from the government. Construction of the road began in 2014 and was expected to be completed in 2016. However, a performance audit report of the Auditor General on the project and 2 other road projects revealed that the government paid $23 million as compensation to the contractor for failing to pay in time. The contractor suspended work due to delays in payment for 12 months and was granted a 21-month extension by the Ministry of Road and Highways to complete the works with a cost compensation of $23 million. It goes on to make reference to poor planning, for instance. It says that...
You know what's funny about the point? There's a story here that corroborates what you just said. Contractors blame poor planning for high cost of road projects. So this is the Association of Road Contractors, umbrella body of road contractors in Ghana, blaming poor planning and lack of proper government budgeting for the abnormal rise in final cost of roads in the country. Now, they are just basically corroborating what you just read. And they urge government to ensure they secure funding before awarding road contracts. Commenting on the findings of the report, National Chairman Association of Road Contractors, Daniel Atto, urged government to ensure it does the right thing. In Ghana, all we do is always add on to planning. We do not properly plan for projects. So you start a project that needs to end in 12 months and we complete it in 12 years. We should know that the depreciation of the cedi and interest will cause the price differentials, price adjustments, and others in the project.
2 stories from the Finder. One Ghana movement is proposing 7 ways to get Ghana ready for COVID-19, and they've given all kinds of interesting bits. They say public education, there should be an interministerial management committee, control kits, and other very interesting.
Still on COVID-19, 2 quick ones. Most Ghanaian students in Wuhan didn't want to be evacuated. This is what the Ghana Health Service boss said on Point of View yesterday. He basically said that a significant number of the students did not want to come home. We did a survey, and those who wanted to come home were few. And he also said that government, through intelligence and surveys gathered, determined that the best thing to do was not to bring them back in because China was in a good position to manage the situation.
But if you go to the Northern Region, there's that's on pages 10 and 11 of the Finder. It says Northern Region on health time bomb, proliferation of unlicensed chemical shops and tramadol abuse. Jesus. So the fight against the proliferation of unlicensed chemical shops and the unauthorized sale of drugs in the Northern Region has been a Herculean task for the Pharmacy Council for some time now. In many parts of the Northern Region, including Tamale, it is not uncommon to see peddlers tie chop boxes to the back of their bikes or bicycles, selling drugs to unsuspecting customers. So there are, all kinds of images, people being admitted at chemical shops, drugs being sold openly at the market. It's a very, very interesting feature, a very long read.
It's a big story. Now, there's a very interesting story on my journal. Like it says, power outages, 40 plant letters down. Energy Ministry spokesperson. Stories by George Navo. It says, spokesperson for Energy Ministry, Nana Opondamo, has parried allegations that government had no alternative plans to mitigate a shortfall in power supply that has caused power outages across the country. According to him, there was an alternative plan to make up some 750 megawatt shortfall due to a routine maintenance exercise. However, 40 power plants scuttled that arrangement. Well, this is interesting because in the initial January release, they had said that they were going to provide extra 750 megawatts. Anyway, let's wrap up with the premix story.
Yes, and that's on page 3 of the Chronicle. Neilante Bannerman, chairman of the National Premix Fuel Committee, says Tema tops in the number of complaints his outfit received on premix fuel distribution and hoarding. Even though the approved price of a drum of premix fuel is 482 cedis, Neilante Bannerman said those in charge allegedly hoarded and sold the product to the fishermen at 1,200.
So this premix thing, when will it stop?
Well, but he's telling about what happened in the past, or is he talking about what's happening now?
No, it looks like it's something that's been happening now. He was explaining this after some investigations had been done by the Tema Metropolitan Assembly and the National Premix Fuel Committee on the complaints they had received from fisherfolk of the handling of the fuel at 10 landing beaches in the metropolis.
Okay. Well, Bernard, let me finish with politics. Page 18 and 19 of the Daily Graphic is dedicated to the MPP primaries. 14 to contest in 3 constituencies in the Northeast region, 49 aspirants to slug it out in Central region, MPP primaries. Now, for instance, let me give you a bit of a breakdown. Only 2 sitting MPs are going unopposed in the primary in the Central region. They are MP for Efutu, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, and the MP for Kumfi, Francis Kingsley Atukujo, who's the Deputy Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture. Now, in the Asin North constituency, Abna Drua Mensah, who's the incumbent, is facing stiff competition from Erica Mankwa-Blay and others. If you go to Heman Lower constituency, Mr. Bright Rekubrobe, incumbent MP, is being challenged by Nana Kwame Yamwa Morgan. If you go to Infantiman constituency, Kwanzaa Hayford is battling out with James Corsa Brown. Now, if you go to Agona West, now there's going to be a big one there because you have Madam Cynthia Morrison, who is there, and she is facing Evans Addison Coleman, who's the former constituency chairman, and Samuel Kwiku Obodai, who is a former MP for the area. So some interesting contents coming up, and Kennedy Japan is being challenged as well.
Is he going again?
Yes, he is the incumbent. He's been challenged by one Eric Beidou, and Madam Barbara Asha Aisi is facing competition from Lawrence Ampa, Joseph Thomas Beidou, and Philip Longdon.
This is very interesting indeed. Now, meanwhile, then John Mama's campaign will be based on what?
On track record achievements, and the chronicles just to be issue based.
Yes.
Okay, so that's just on the political side of things. Just to say, the caravan is leaving Kumasi today to Tamale. We'll be joining them to tell us more about what happened in Kumasi yesterday as they make their way to the northern region.
But I know
Techiman.
But one of the best, I know they enjoy the fufu in Kumasi, but one of the best places to eat fufu is also in the northern parts of the country.
Really?
Charlie Bernard. When they pound young fufu.
Is it?
Oh, okay.
For you. And it is there that you can say, Mame, meat, 10 cedis, and they'll give you the whole can.
No, so which yam would they use? Is it the Nathan's type?
Probably, yeah. Probably that one.
This is the